You're just being hormonal. Have you ever thought or said that to anyone? Or has anyone ever said that to you? Yes. Because if I got £1 for every time someone said that to me, I would be a very, very rich woman by now. My husband, my dad, even my 9-year-old son say it to me. When I mention the word hormones, you may think I'm going to be talking about women's health and menopause today. But I'm not. We have over 50 hormones in our body, some of which include estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Women and men have these hormones. Women and men have the same hormones. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Men do produce estrogen, and men do produce progesterone. But when was the last time you ever heard a man being referred to as being hormonal? When we think of hormones, we think of women and their monthly cycles. But what if I was to say to you that men also have hormonal cycles too? Although it's not a monthly cycle, it's a 24-hour cycle. It's still a cycle. And therefore, based on this, men can be hormonal too. So what are hormones? Hormones are small, mighty, powerful chemicals that send messages from one part of the body to another. They're invisible. Hormones play a major effect on our health, from whether we feel attracted to our partner, right down to whether we want that second cup of coffee. Hormones are central to how we think, how we feel, how we sleep. Hormones are not just about reproduction and making babies. They are so much more than that. We have receptors for the major hormones in our body all over, from head to toe. So we have estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone receptors in our brain, in our heart, even in our bones. And our hormones, they all work together as a team. They are all interconnected. Just like an orchestra, all the instruments playing together in perfect harmony and symphony, your hormones are very much the same. And in an orchestra, if one of those instruments plays a note out of tune, we know about it, we can hear it. And it's the same with our hormones. When one of our hormones is out of balance, out of sync, we know about it, our body knows about it, and it can express itself in so many different ways. Not just low sex drive or difficulty getting pregnant, but acne, low mood, even poor sleep. And our hormone system, what we call the endocrine system, it works with other body systems as well. It doesn't work alone. It works with our gut, our liver, even our immune system. So I've been a GP now for many years. I've seen a lot of patients in that time with all manner of symptoms. Let me tell you about a patient. Let's call him George. George was 25, an endurance runner training for a marathon. He went to see his GP struggling with hair loss, tiredness, and low mood. His baseline blood tests came back as normal. The GP diagnosed him with depression and told him to cut down on his extreme exercise. Over time, George's mood did not improve. He was tried on numerous different antidepressants, but none of them worked. We were missing something, but what was it? George's case was discussed amongst a group of doctors where one suggested we check a testosterone level. George went off to have this test. The root cause for the way George was feeling was in fact not depression. It was a hormonal deficiency, a testosterone deficiency. So let's take a step back. If George had gone to see his doctor complaining of erectile dysfunction or low sex drive, it may have prompted them to check that testosterone level. That's what's so interesting about our hormones and our sex hormones. As I've said, they're not just about reproduction. They are so much more than that. If you cut your leg or have an ulcer, we can see it. It's visible, more tangible and easier to treat. But your hormones, as I've said, they are invisible. I'm going to tell you a few things about stress and your hormones that you might not know. Stress. We all have a little bit of stress in our life. Life wouldn't be complete without that little bit of stress. 79% of adults experience stress at least once a month. Stress is your body's response to feeling threatened or under pressure, such as running late for work, losing your keys when you're already running late for work, or telling the children for the 10th time to put the shoes on when you're already running late for work. Stress creates a hormonal response. Adrenaline and cortisol, they spring into action. It's a protective mechanism that we've evolved with to help keep us safe, to give us that fight or flight response. But the problem in today's society, when we're constantly faced with stressful events, our cortisol can remain high over a long period of time, and this can have negative effects on our health. Even doctors like myself need to see doctors, and I remember a period in my life 7 years ago feeling overwhelmed, under pressure, and I vividly remember having that telephone consultation with my GP because I was on the way home from school pickup with the children, because I still remember both of the children in the back seat, both having a meltdown over whose turn it was to play I Spy. Now, I knew my GP well. He trained me. He told me the way I was feeling was because I was doing too much, to slow down. He told me I was stressed. Over the years, those feelings of being overwhelmed, under pressure, and anxious, they got worse. I went to see other healthcare professionals, and they all said the same. I was doing too much. Slow down. You're just stressed. Not one healthcare professional asked me if my symptoms were related to my hormone cycle. Not one. A few years later, I went to see a gynecologist, and within a few minutes of entering the room, he soon diagnosed me with a hormonal sensitivity disorder, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD, a condition that affects women's physical and mental health. And it's based on your symptoms, not a blood test. And it can be severe, with 34% of women with PMDD attempting suicide. 34%. That's over 1 in 3. And we all have a woman in our life, whether that's a mother, a daughter, a sister, or even a friend. And that's what's led me on my journey to want to help people who suffer with hormonal dysfunction, any gender, and that's what I specialise in now. One of the things I talk to my patients a lot about is the effects that exercise can have on our hormones. Exercise, we know it's great for relieving stress, for its positive mental health benefits and physical health benefits. Now, this is not meant to be me on stage telling you all to join an expensive gym or go for a run, because everybody close to me knows I can't run. It's more like a polite shuffle. Exercise has so many positive benefits on our hormones and neurotransmitters. It can boost dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline, and our endorphins. But if we don't do exercise correctly, it can have a negative effect on our health. How many times have we been told if we want to lose weight, we eat less, we move more? We join that gym, sign up to do numerous high-intensity exercise classes with the desperate attempt of losing a few pounds for the summer months. Now, as I've mentioned before, if you're stressed, your cortisol levels can be high. Cortisol levels being high over a long period of time can affect the way your body responds to insulin and how you control your blood sugar levels. If those sugar levels are too high in your blood, your body responds by storing that in your liver and in your muscles as sugar storage. And once those storage levels are full, the body then converts it to fat. So for people who are already stressed, who then do numerous high-intensity exercise classes, they may find that they'll struggle to lose weight. They may, in fact, gain weight and put fat on. So it's not as simple as eat less, move more. Our hormones are part of that puzzle. And have we ever considered how women should exercise in relation to their hormone cycle? So in the 2 weeks before a woman's menstrual cycle, progesterone levels start to increase. Progesterone can increase metabolic rate by short of 10%. This can be why women feel so hungry in the 2 weeks before their period. But because of this increase in metabolic rate, this can explain why some women feel exercise is a lot more harder in the 2 weeks before their period as well. We need to be thinking hormones. As you can hear, your hormones can affect the lifestyle choices that you make. So low testosterone can make you feel tired, less motivated to do the exercise. But vice versa, your lifestyle can affect your hormones. So too much stress, too much exercise can raise your cortisol. Wouldn't it be great if we understood that there's no overnight fix to make our hormones work for us and not against us? It can be a long-term journey, and what works for one person may not work for another. We are all individually unique. I want you to take control of that lifestyle. It's those lifestyle choices and changes that can be so hard to make. Evidence suggests it takes at least 10 weeks to form habits. I know firsthand how hard that can be. Waking up an hour earlier to walk the dog instead of doing a 10-minute high-intensity session just before bed, it can feel like an uphill struggle, like you're swimming against treacle. But it's making those small lifestyle choices and changes in your life consistently that can have huge positive benefits to your health. Hormones are an internal barometer of your health. If you're a healthcare professional, I invite you, the next time you see a patient, to openly consider whether hormones are at the root cause of their physical and mental health, any gender, and if their lifestyle is affecting their hormones, any age, from cradle to grave. Look beyond just blood pressure, weight and BMI, and think more deeply about hormones as a sixth vital sign to help us join those dots. And for everybody else, hormones are not a gender issue, they are a human issue. They apply to us all. We would not survive without them. The next time you come to see me as your GP, don't hold back, don't sugarcoat it. Be honest with me so I can help you. The good, the bad, the ugly, I have seen it all before. I will not judge you if you have vaginal discharge, erectile dysfunction, low sex drive, or whiskers and excess hair growing from your chin. Have that conversation with me so I can help. And I want you to think, what one thing will you change in your lifestyle to improve your stress levels, to get that exercise and movement in your day? Whether that's just doing 10 minutes of something you enjoy every day, dad dancing, singing, or waking up that 10 minutes earlier to walk the dog. Prioritise your health and hormones. Let's reframe the way we think about hormones, think differently, and consider hormones as the root cause of our physical and mental health. Any gender, any age. Now, I definitely think that's a conversation worth having and an idea worth spreading.